Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I am back making silicone molds with Let's Resin. I am beyond excited. I am using probably the easiest method in the world to make a DIY mold. Let's go. If you don't already know, or if you haven't been following me for the last month, we got a new puppy. He's been with us 3 weeks and 3 days. And oh my goodness, check these out. I couldn't resist, honestly. Actually, I ordered these a few weeks ago from Moray Lothian Woodworks, who does a lot of my laser cut pieces for me. I messaged him and I just said, okay, I absolutely must make a silicone mold for dog tags. And look at these. Oh my gosh. They're so tiny and diddy. I cannot even cope. So our dog is a Jackapoo. Our puppy is a Jackapoo and he's tiny, guys. He's tiny. He's not going to grow very big. So I ordered 3 different sizes from Moray. These are acrylic laser cut blanks. I will put his details in the description box below. I ordered teeny tiny ones because our dog is tiny, all the way up to huge. I mean, I've got ideas what I want to do with these, but they're definitely not going to be dog tags. You'd need a Great Dane to be able to handle a dog tag this big. But oh my gosh, these are game changing and I cannot wait to actually find more shapes. Now, here is the game changer for me. The only thing you need to make the easiest silicone mold in the world is tape and a cookie cutter. Now, thanks to Let's Resin, they've got a very visual information sheet with their actual silicone. And it was on the information sheet that I saw they use cookie cutters. What? I knew I had some, so I knew I had to try them. You will only need 2 things, apart from your silicone. You just need some tape and a cookie cutter. This is by far the easiest silicone mold to me in the world. Like, it's so easy. You can use sellotape like I did in previous videos. You can use the green tape that you get from Amazon. I'll link it below. That is designed for this kind of thing. But I'm going to try some vinyl. I have seen videos where people use their Cricut vinyl to make molds, and I thought, well, I've got that. And if you saw my last silicone mold video where I used tape, I mean, it was messy, guys. It was messy. It worked, but it was messy. This vinyl is going to give me a beautifully flat base. Really beautiful. So all I did here, as you saw, was place the cookie cutter down onto my Cricut vinyl, and then I used a lollipop stick to make sure that it was completely and utterly stuck to it. And that is all I had to do. The next step for me was to peel back the protective layers on these acrylic blanks. I just cannot cope with how cute these are. If I could even, I'm hoping you can see just how diddy these are, just how tiny these are. And I just think, oh my gosh, a little name tag for a dog collar is going to be so cute. I'm honestly turning into one of those puppy mums. I'm just trying to stop myself here. I promise. I'm trying to stop myself. The first thing I'm doing is placing them down on top of the vinyl. Now, of course, the vinyl is sticky side up, so they adhere really nicely and flat as well. This is key. I want them to adhere flat to the vinyl. So it was just a case of moving it around, having a play, and working out your placement for your pieces. I'm already thinking of other things I can get Moray to cut me, honestly, because I want all the doggy shapes. So yeah, I placed all 3 down. I did end up actually rearranging these placements because what I did was making sure I'm not holding them so that none of my fingerprints get on to the actual acrylic, because if there are any marks on there, any debris, any fingerprints, it will come off in your silicone mold, and then anything you make from that day forward will have your fingerprints in there. So I used a cotton bud to make sure that the top of the surfaces were thoroughly polished before I poured the silicone. So if you saw my last video, that was the unboxing by Let's Resin. They've actually asked me to be a silicone rubber ambassador for them, which means there'll be more videos on my channel making silicone molds. Now I just need to think of ideas. It's the ideas that need to come. So this silicone is non-toxic and it is measurable by weight. So equal parts A to B on your digital scales is what you really need. And then it needs to be mixed for 5 minutes before pouring. The first thing I'm going to do here though is to just make sure that that silicone has got down into these teeny tiny holes. So I'm just using a cocktail stick to run the silicone around inside those holes to make sure that they come out in the mold, and I'm going to be able to use them as actual tags. Then I'm just going to pour the rest of the silicone in. The best way to reduce air bubbles in your silicone is to pour from high up. So I would say I'm pouring from about a foot to a foot and a half off my desk down into the mold. And this is going to make sure that all the bubbles are reduced. So for me, truly, this is hands down the easiest method of making a silicone mold in the world. A cookie cutter and some tape, and it is good to go. So I'm moving on to the medium size acrylic blanks now. I'll probably use these like on the lead, maybe to put his little name on his lead. Oh gosh, I'm so giddy. But yeah, the method I'm using, you would have seen in a previous video. I'm going to be using my Foamex board sheets cut down kind of like little rectangles to create my vessel. But this time around it's going to be a lot neater because I'm using one big piece of Cricut vinyl. I'm just going to place my bones down in the shape that I want them, in the areas that I want them. Then I'm going to bring the walls in and create the walls around them. The only difference between this video and this method and the last time I did this, I'm actually doing it a much simpler way. I rewatched some of Resin Ace's videos and he got his Foamex boards and he brought them in like this. So he actually placed them down kind of overlapping each other. He didn't actually pre-make the walls like I did in the previous video. You would have seen it, guys. It was messy. I just taped the life out of them, made a box, taped them all, cut them to size. You don't need to do that. This is also another really easy method. So you get your Foamex board sheets and you bring them in like this, and it allows you to make as big or as small a mold as you need. It makes so much more sense, because now I've got these 4 pieces that I can just reuse over and over and over, and it doesn't matter how small my pieces are, how big they are. I can move the boards out, bring the boards in to actually create the perfect size mold that I need. So yeah, thanks to Resin Ace. If he is watching this, sometimes he watches my videos, he's probably watching this thinking, yeah, I didn't quite make it that messy though, Claire, so don't put my name on that. Because this is about to get really messy. I'm not gonna lie, this was fiddly for me. What I ended up doing was I ended up just putting one piece of foam board on and then using my hot glue, because you'll see here I do tape all of the walls together, allowing me to use my hot glue a bit easier. But I'm not gonna lie, it got fiddly, okay? And I think sometimes for me, things get fiddly when I'm filming. When I'm not filming, I can promise you that things go a lot smoother, but the minute I press record, nope, everything just wants to fall down. So it might make it look like it's hard, but it's really not hard. It just looks harder than it is because, I don't know, I'm clumsy, I'm fiddly. But yeah, here you go. I ended up having to hot glue the sides and up the edges one at a time and then add the next board in. And yes, there's a lot of hot glue. This is where Resin Ace is probably thinking, yeah, mine did not look like that. But yeah, the method in principle works. You can see how all of the boards are just offset to each other, and this creates the exact shape mold that you want. And this is just going to help you not waste silicone as well. So you would have seen me there just use the cocktail sticks in exactly the same way, just getting down into those holes to make sure that that silicone comes out, and then I filled them up. Did I use a bit too much silicone? Yeah, I did. But you can see here how the air bubbles have popped to the surface. Now I've just zoomed in to show you this silicone is bubble free, and this is sped up over the period of about 30 seconds. All of these bubbles pop by themselves and we are left with a super flat surface. Now I did kind of panic about my hot glue perfection here. My fine art of hot gluing. I did go overboard on the hot glue, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I did, but there were no leaks, and there were no leaks on this one either. This silicone by Let's Resin has an 8-hour cure time, but you know, puppy life would not let me get back upstairs, so this is 24 hours later. The actual Cricut vinyl peeled away like a dream. I did kind of worry because it said permanent vinyl, but I didn't know what it, like, does permanent mean it's not gonna, yeah, it was fine. It was absolutely fine. Peeled away like a dream. And look how neat this is. This has got to be the neatest silicone mold I've ever made. And watch it pop out. Oh my gosh. It came out of the cookie cutter like a dream. Kind of expected it to, because that is the example that Let's Resin use in their information sheet. And of course, the acrylic blanks pop out also like a dream. Honestly, the easiest method in the world and the neatest. How neat is this? I don't think I've ever made anything quite as neat as this. But yeah, here it is. We've got some debris in there, so, you know, something had to go a little bit wrong here. We've got some debris. It's not going to take away from the use of the mold. It's going to be perfectly usable. But yeah, really, really happy with the way this came out. It's so, so neat. The only thing I will say is that the top is a little bit tacky. Now, I am aware that there are some tapes that can actually prohibit the curing of silicone. So it is possible that using permanent Cricut vinyl was not the one. However, the rest of the mold is fine. The inside is not tacky. It's going to be a completely functional, usable mold. However, in hindsight, I would use something like a temporary vinyl or a, you know, removable vinyl, or just use the tape, the actual tape that you can buy to make molds. However, it did work. It came away really easily. Really, really happy with it. There are some kind of seepages, sometimes where it seeps kind of down under the cookie cutter, or, you know, the tops. So all you have to do is just make sure that you kind of cut these off, because this might end up affecting how flat your silicone mold is. If you've got, especially on the bottom, if you've got any seepages on the bottom, cut them off. But oh my gosh, absolutely chuffed with the results. Now to demold the Foamex board mold. Now again, this wasn't difficult, it's just that the cookie cutter method was so much easier, and if I had giant cookie cutters I probably would have used them. But the Foamex board comes away from the silicone like a dream, and again, so does the Cricut vinyl. You just have to be careful with bigger pieces like this. You don't want to rip your silicone, but honestly, like, I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem getting it away. It's just super sticky, so you just do have to go easy. The one thing I did have a problem with, I noticed immediately, I'd made a mistake with the loops. So even though I went down inside with the cocktail stick, my second guess was like, I think I've put air down there. I personally think, yeah, I kind of messed up on this. So they have not come through, which is such a shame. Not the end of the world though, because we can drill resin and we can drill Jesmonite. So I'm just going to have to re-drill the holes back in there. But yeah, if I did this again, I would just be extra vigilant and extra careful that I got those in there. So you can see here, I'm going to show you a comparison. Here is a close-up. You can just see, I didn't do it right. I didn't get that silicone down into those holes. And whatever I did with the cocktail stick, I feel like I made it worse. Whereas these ones came out utterly perfect, couldn't have been more perfect. But again, like I said, it's not the end of the world. I can drill the holes afterwards, so I'm still really happy. I am really happy. But the surface on both of these is sticky. It wasn't sticky when I used sellotape, but it was sticky when I used the permanent Cricut vinyl. So do let me know if you've used any Cricut vinyl for your molds, and if you used the temporary one, because I think that was probably the best one to use here. But overall, oh my gosh, happy with the cookie cutter one. It is a game changer for me. I have so many cookie cutters, and if I'm molding in the future, this would be my go-to method. Use your metal cookie cutters. It is a game changer. I know I'm not the first one to do this, by the way. No, I'm not. This is out there already. It's not new information, but this was a new method for me to try, and it is a game changer for me. So yeah, I know this has been around for years. As for the Foamex board, another amazing product. Honestly, the hot glue peels away like a dream on all of the pieces. It comes away from the silicone like a dream. So this is reusable over and over and over again for me to be able to build the walls up around any mold I might make in the future. So again, highly recommend this stuff. But yeah, look at this dream. I really hope you found this video helpful. I really do. I didn't mold the giant bones in today's video. I'm going to kind of save these for a later date. I really want to think about how I'm going to use them. I think I might make like a wooden hook system for his lead and his little toys and things like that for when we go out on walks, and then I can use one of them in the middle with his name on. But I'm gonna, yeah, put some more thought into that one. But yeah, really love this. I hope you've enjoyed the silicone, and all of the details will be linked in the description box below. I'll also pop More's details in the description box below if you are looking for any acrylic blanks to mold, make your own molds. So everything, like I said, is in the description box below. Thank you so much to Let's Resin. I am so excited. Keep following me, because in the next video I'm going to be using these molds and I'm going to show you exactly what I make with them. And yeah, I couldn't put it all in one video because we're pretty much already at 15 minutes and that would be way too long. So yeah, hit that thumbs up if you found this helpful, and do not forget to leave me a comment down below. And yeah, hit the subscribe, guys, because you won't miss out when you see what I make with these. I'm so excited. I'm actually more excited to put it on his little collar because anyway, okay, enough gushing from me. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.